Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back again with another Q&A this time. Quite a few interesting questions this time round, of course. We've got 4 people submitting some wonderful questions for me. Thank you very much, guys. First off, we start with DVD and Film Bloke. Of course, I will start off with him, as always, So let's get around to it. So he has sent me 5 questions to do with Doctor Who because he feels like to be in a Doctor Who mood. Fair enough from that. I'm a Whovian myself, actually, so that's pretty good. I talk about Doctor Who in the channel sometimes, pretty much, but I need to get back into some of the things to talk about more. Even though I'm a fan, I don't really talk about it on the channel that much. I still need to eventually, of course. So let's do this. So question number 1. Who is your favourite Doctor? You can have multiple choices. I'll give you 5 Doctors, actually. I'll give you, well, in terms of favourites, I'd probably say Patrick Troughton, 2nd Doctor. Colin Baker, 6th Doctor. 7th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy. 8th Doctor, Paul McGann. And Peter Capaldi, Doctor number 12. So those are my favourites, of course. So excuse me. Yeah, so those are my favourite Doctors. Top 5 Doctors, okay. So question number 2, what is your favourite story from the TV series, where you can include spin-off material as well? So, okay, if I had to pick from each Doctor, I'll pick from each Doctor. So, for the first Doctor, from Hartnell's tenure, I'll probably say the War Machines. Patrick Troughton's era, I would probably say, I'll probably say Power of the Daleks, actually, because that's pretty good. From John Pertwee's era, I'll probably say Carnival of Monsters. From Tom Baker's era, I'll probably say Planet of Evil. Peter Devon's era, I'll probably say Frontios. Colin Baker's era, The Two Doctors. Sylvester McCoy's era, I'll probably say Survival. TV movie for Paul McGann, of course. If we talk about television, of course. So it would be TV movie, because that's some interesting bits. From Christopher Eccleston's era, I'll probably say Father's Day. Tennant's era, The Impossible Planet in the Satan Pit. That is good. 11th Doctor. I would probably say... Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. Probably say that one. Peter Capaldi's. I'd probably say Under the Lake and Before the Flood. And from Whittaker's era, I would probably say... what can I think of? What's a good one? It's hard to think sometimes. I'll probably say Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, actually. So those are my favourite ones from the television series. From spin-off media, in terms of Big Finish, I could probably say Holy Terror. That's a really good one. That's a really good stuff with Frobisher, written by Robert Sherman. That's brilliant. Seasons of Fear, written by Paul Cornell and his wife Carolyn Symax, if I'm pronouncing that right. That's pretty good with Paul McGann. What's another work I think of? I think those ones if I can just remember properly, then I actually really liked, actually. And for novels, I'd probably say Just War by Lance Parkin from the Virgin New Adventures, Return of the Living Dead by Kate Allman, Damaged Goods by Russell T Davies is fantastic. That is totally different Doctor Who, but it's brilliantly written, very addictive to read as well sometimes, actually. So I could probably pick them as well. Them 3 novels. I read them so far, actually, so they're actually really good. So that's your question that's answered for that one. So question number 3, classic or modern Who? I'll probably say classic, actually, because I find classic very nostalgic in many places, even though I remember watching the Bond series first, because I watched it first in 2005. But looking at the old stuff, it's all hokey and stuff, a bit of its time, really. It's very dated of its time, really, but there's something nostalgic and interesting about it. It's like you feel like you're being a kid again, really. It's in strange places. It depends if you know a lot of shows from those decades, really, from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So it makes you feel comfortable that sort of way. It feels like like you just gone back to your childhood, and this is on. It's like you somehow are familiar with for some strange reason. But I would say classic Who. Plus, there's a lot of interesting stories. There's bad stories, but there's a lot of interesting stuff as well. Number 4, which of the missing stories would you like to see recovered? In terms of recovered, well, I would like to see the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve. That's one I'm interested to see because Harnell plays double in that one. So I'm pretty interested if it doesn't. Well, I think it won't get recovered, but it'll be animated or something really. So I'll be interested with that. The Savages, I really want to see because that's Stephen Taylor departs in that story, of course. The Highlanders, I really want to see because again, that's the introduction of Jamie's story, of course, and. What's the other one? I think them 3 really. So the Massacre, the Savages, and the Highlanders I really want to see actually. See recovered all, see being turned into animated adventures really. So that'd be pretty interesting. And your favourite final question is favourite monsters. Favourite monsters? Of course, you can pick up quite a few. An honest one has to be the Cybermen. That's a really good one. They're really interesting. The Cybermen are more interesting than the Daleks, to be honest. Because you can see where the influence can be, and you can really see it can make it a bit more interesting, really. Indeed. I really like the Chelonians because they were meant to be referenced and meant to be included in the modern series, but they're never included. If you don't know what the Chelonians are, they're like cybernetic turtle warrior race. These first appeared in the Virgin Adventure books they have, and they appeared in a few bits and pieces like comics and audio series over the past years, but not on television. I really like to see a televised story with them on it. And one final one I could really think of is the Crotons. Because the design, of course, like like a crystalline race, of course, but they're not fully realised in the actual story in Patrick Troughton's era, of course. Even though Russell T Davies, when regretted, what's one thing you regretted when leaving Who, and never did a story with the Crotons. That is really interesting. So I really do like them. I like the design of them, of course. Interesting, and probably with the budget and stuff like that, you could probably do them right, actually, of course. But who would remember the Crotons, of course? We'll have to wait and see about that. So those are my questions answered from DVD Film Bloke. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, mate. Right, these next questions are from Rory Douglas. Old friend I've known for many decades, really. One of the first subscribers ever. How you doing, Dougo? Nice to see you again, mate. You've asked me about what happened on the events of, was the first night out in the pub after lockdown. And that was really some bad shit going on there. Definitely. Really bad, some bad shit. Yes, definitely. It got really out of hand. It did. A lot of fights and going on and other stuff, even though people were celebrating everything else, it was just like, oh, they really overdid it. They did. I mean, really did, unfortunately. But we sort of stuck out the way a bit, even though I got soaked with lager in the end between being a bunch of couples that did, and it was like, just went all over the place they did. And said, oh, it's rain lager, and that sort of stuff. I was like, jeez. I still remember it, but I forget sometimes, But I'm doing okay, lad. I'll be doing well, mate, and hope I'll see you soon, whenever. Who knows? Right. You sent me some questions, man. So, your first question is, what music are you listening to a lot at the moment? Just a bit of anything, really, to be honest. A little bit of pop, bit of bits and pieces. I've just been listening to a lot of stuff recently. A lot of classic rock. I've been listening to Kiss. I've been listening to Black Sabbath. Not the Ozzy Osbourne version of Black Sabbath, for once in the 80s, of course. I've been listening to XTC recently, which are a very good band, which I've started going to just at the moment. What else? Whitesnake, I've sort of been listening to. I haven't listened for years actually, so I got back into it. But recently bought one of their albums. Quite a lot of stuff, mate. I can't really stick to one thing, but I'm listening to all sorts, mate. So it's just an endless revolving thing. It is. Your next question is: have you seen The Alienist on Netflix? I haven't, mate, unfortunately, but you've given me a good recommendation because I've been watching a lot of stuff on Netflix recently. Anyway, been watching Still Game recently. I've been watching Spaced recently. I'm sort of starting on series 2 at the minute. What else? Just bits and pieces, really. Of course, a few films, Netflix exclusive films and stuff. But The Alienist, I probably might watch actually. So thanks for the recognition, Doggo. Question 3: have you ever considered doing movie reviews on what is on Netflix at the moment or any time, all the time? I've done actually. I've been in series 11. I've covered a few films actually to do with Netflix. I've done The Foreigner, and I've done Shaft. So them two are on Netflix exclusives anyway. I've got a few more sorted out for series 12 at the moment. So I think about 2 at the moment. I've chosen 2 actually, and they're sort of different from different countries. They are, well, sort of different regions or different countries they are. So that would be pretty interesting to get onto them. I'll be doing them in series 12, so there'll be a few more Netflix stuff going on there. Question number 4: would you ever go skydiving? Would I ever go skydiving? Oh God. If it's for a good cause or something, if I was forced to do something for charity or something like that for a good cause, I will have to. If it's just for fun and hobbies, no. I've seen many people skydive many times. I know a lot of people have done it. It is quite dangerous, and it's, I don't know really. Probably not. If it's just for leisure, for hobbies and stuff, for the fun of it, then no. But if it's for a good cause, if I have to do it, I have to do it. So, who knows? And your final question is, what is your favourite drink you have on a night out? It's lager, really. If I'm out to a pub somewhere, or that sort of thing, like we do, we always have a lager, we do, tend to do that, really. It tends to go off kilter when the shots come in and everything else. But lager is usually the preferred drink for me when I go for a pub, to go to a pub or somewhere, or to a brewery, whatever. That's where it tends to happen, really. And those are your questions. Thank you, Doggo. Thank you for submitting them very nicely, mate. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. Right, this next question is from @Snoopy1, and he's giving me a behemoth of a question. Let's go through this. So, what do you think of Yogi Bear? Never seen much of Yogi Bear actually, but I remember him in the Hanna-Barbera, that competition line that Hanna-Barbera did, when they had different teams of, like, there was the Yogi team, there was a Scooby team, and there was the was it the Destiny team, the Dick Destiny team as well? Who remembers that? I only seen bits and pieces in there, of course. Top Cat, I've seen the original series. I think it was brilliant. It was. I know the movies that came out recently from Mexico were terrible, or Brazil, whatever. They're meant to be terrible. I never seen them at all. Never watched a single clip of that. But the actual series itself, the original 70s TV show, I really enjoyed. Really good stuff. Flintstones, I've seen Flintstones as well. Really good show that was. Same with Wacky Races, really good. The Smurfs, I'm familiar with the Smurfs, but I never watched the show. I've only ever seen, and shockingly, I've only seen the first live action movie of it with Neil Patrick Harris. Yes, that's how far it goes. Yeah. Barber, I've seen bits of Barber as well on TV back in the day. Never really saw most of it, but I've seen little bits of it. Frank and the Turtle, I've seen as well. That was shown on TV quite a few times. The only 2 episodes I can remember from that show is when he has piano lessons, and the other one he has like purple boils or something on his shell. That's what I remember. Little Bear, I fondly remember because I remember it was repeated on television quite a lot. I also had it on a few VHSs, well, the Toy Box VHSs as well, a couple of them which I've showcased in the past. The Magic School Bus, I have no idea. I know it's an American show that is, but I never seen that. Raccoons, I've never seen. Care Bears, I've seen the merchandise many times. I never watched the show entirely. I used to remember in McDonald's, used to get those little key rings or so whatever, those little ones when they were scented. That was quite interesting. Get Along Gang, I've only ever seen it was included on the video collection promo in the 80s. That's about it. Arthur, I've seen a few times on television. It's a great little show about the adventure of an aardvark. That's pretty good. Busy World of Richard Scarry, I've never heard of. Blinky Bill, I've only heard of Blinky Bill from Margot Robbie, actually, when she did a video of the forest fires. She goes for a scrapbook, and she has like a picture of Blinky Bill in there for some strange reason. I've never seen Blinky Bill, but I've seen him maybe reference or advertised whenever in VHSs or whatever, and also through Margot Robbie's Instagram video or whatever. Pound Puppies I've never heard of. David the Gnome I've never even heard of. Same with PB&J Otter. I've never heard of them ones, unfortunately. Sorry, mate. But there you go. That's actually a question sorted out, mate. Thank you for sending me that. Right, we're back with the final questions. This time from Jack Williams. Hello again, Jack. Thank you for submitting your questions, mate. Very much a privilege. Cheers, bud. You always send me questions, so thank you very much. So you sent me 4 questions, which is very nice, mate. Thank you very much. again, and always again, and again and again. All right, let's do this. So, question number 1: what do you think of my Q&A series? Ask Jack the Question so far. Been really good, mate. Actually, because I first came away because I featured on your second episode of the series actually, and it's pretty decent, mate. You know, like you've always got a lot of questions. You do a lot of answering. People always send you a lot of decent questions. Maybe oh god, like they come in the rows of fives, mate, don't they? So yeah, but I've only seen the second, third, and fourth one, but I recently watched your newest one. I think it's episode 9 actually. So yeah, so I'm pretty pleased you're still carrying on with that, mate. That's pretty good. Question number 2: what is your favourite series of Porridge, the BBC sitcom? To be honest, I think I haven't really seen that much Porridge actually, unfortunately. I know it's great and stuff with Ronnie Barker and stuff, you know, and Richard Beckinsale as well. I would probably say maybe the first one, really, to be honest. I mean, to be fair, I think the first one you always start off and it's like, again, pretty good actually, you know. I think for the second series it might be just, I don't know, well, I don't know, I'll probably go with the first series, mate. You know, I've really no answer with that, unfortunately. Question number 3: have you seen Disney's Bolt? Only once, mate, from a pirated DVD copy I got years ago. I used to buy pirated DVD copies many times from a seaside town at a market stall somewhere. I think it's like £3 for £5 or £3 for £10. I think it was back in the day, and Bolt was one of them, because that's got John Travolta and Miley Cyrus in, doesn't it? I've only seen it once, mate, so I can't really say anything about it really, to be honest. And number 4: which series of Brum do you prefer, the 1991 to 94 series or the 2002 or 2003 series? It has to be the 1981 to 94 series because that's the one I fondly remember growing up with, of course. I've said my opinions on the 2000 series in videos in a few videos, of course, mate. So I don't want to delve into it, but it's not the best really, to be honest. I mean, I prefer the 90s version. 90s version better, really. So that's the Q&A done for 2020. Well, the other Q&A for 2020. So thanks guys for watching as always. See you for the next video. Goodbye.